Tarot Tuesday. This is something that I do in my private Facebook group every month. Anyone who wants an individual reading, they just put a yes in the thread and I will pull a card for them. So I've just finished those readings and I thought I'd pull an overall card for the month ahead for those of you who chance across this video. So it was Tarot Tuesday for February 2026. So the way that I do the readings is I do what I would call cold readings, where the cards all look exactly the same on the back. They're of course all different on the front. So I choose the cards facing away from me. Yeah. And that's that. And for those of you who have never come across this before, this is a really lovely summary from someone in the group, because oftentimes, as is now, I've just done the whole Facebook Live. There was no one there. So people will come and watch the replay recording of the video because I just have to choose a time where I'm free rather than it being at a scheduled time. And this is what someone said following their reading. They said, "Hi, Marilyn, I've just listened to the recording and OMG, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. What can I say? But you were 1,000,000% spot on with my reading. I'm blown away with it all." So if you're not in my group and you would like an individual reading, I do 30 minutes, 60 minutes, hour and a half, a bit more detail as you increase up in time. You can visit my main website, transformationstm.com/tarot readings. So with that said, let us pull a card. Right, so I'm going to give them a shuffle. And also, when I do the readings for my group, I never know what they want the readings to be about. They just literally just put a yes, YES in the thread. That's it. And I don't want to know what they want the reading to be about. As you'll see, if you look at the testimonials on my website, there was one of them, particular person, they told me what they wanted the reading to be about. And I was like, okay. I did the reading, it was about something completely different. And I'm like, oh, well, this isn't going well. And then they said at the end, they said, well, there's something I wanted to ask you, but I didn't. I went with this other thing, but the reading that you did was the reading I actually wanted. So that's why I always say I'm not that interested. In fact, I'm not interested at all, really, in what you want the reading to be about. We'll just go with the flow. All right, so we're going to pull one for February. Actually, let me move that so you can see the cards as I pull them. Right, or the card, I should say. Right, so February 2026. I'm going to go with I want that one there. What we got. Okay, so we got the Page of Ariel. Let me show you that one first of all. I'll read it as well because you might be on a device that's quite small. Hi, Arnica. I've just done the other Facebook Live in the membership group. So, but thank you for joining me. Lovely to see you here. So we got the Page of Ariel. So characteristics of this particular card: reliable, clever, educated, balanced. And what it says on the card: an excellent opportunity will be offered to you, exclamation mark, scholarships or the pursuit of education, time to get to work, exclamation mark. So what this one is saying, and one of the things that I often say with regards to this particular card, if you have a look at it, some of the books are open, if you notice, and also the books are all around, so a bit like all the books on my bookshelf. What this one feels like is not necessarily you have to go and enroll for a whole new course or something like that. It could be that you're already sitting on that information. It's on the shelves behind you nowadays. It's on the app, the hard drive, whatever it is, at your fingertips. So this one is the opportunity is like, look, if there's something that's going on in your life, or there's a particular skill set or an area that you want to improve in, first off, look at what you've already got. What have you already invested in? What have you paid for? Have you done that thing where I'm sure we all have, I most certainly have, where you've purchased courses, trainings, workshops, etc., and you either didn't start them at all, or you kind of started and then thought, there are other things, other priorities. But actually, and maybe because I bought a few things in advance before, I was like, I don't need this right now, or it's going to be interesting. That's something I've been thinking about. I'm not going to do it now, but I've got it in the bag so that when I'm ready, I can go back to it. And I've got a few of those things. So it could be something that you've already invested in, you've already got. It could be a book or an audio or something like that. And now is the time where you think, actually, this is a really great time for that particular skill set. Now, there are some of the skill sets, let's say with AI, I have done several AI trainings over the years. And the one that I did 3 years ago is probably obsolete now because the market, the world of AI has moved so fast. And there'll be other things, let's say with regards to psychology, with regards to NLP, leadership development, influence, those things pretty much still valid because some of those fundamentals have not changed. So it could be that you look at it and go, it's out of date, but it's a good starting point. And others, you go, wow, the information here is so amazing. I can just do a deep dive and dive in. It's also that whole thing is noticing, being open for opportunities, because if there's something that you've been thinking about, mulling over, wishing for, sometimes the opportunity will land in your lap and you don't have to do anything at all except have the thought. Oftentimes, you need to turn the handle, you need to actually take some action, you need to actually do something. So, part of it might be you might say to someone, oh, I'm thinking about this or looking for this particular opportunity. Let's say LinkedIn, for example, which I'm actually not streaming to. I think I'm streaming to, well, I know I'm streaming to Facebook because I can see the comments. And I should also be streaming to YouTube. I made a conscious decision not to click the button to stream to LinkedIn because a one-liner post a couple of years ago got my whole LinkedIn account shut down for an entire year. So I thought, not gonna do any of the tarot stuff there. But LinkedIn is a place, for example, where you can have a banner which says looking. I actually added that banner to mine because I'm always up for doing some fabulous corporate workshops, trainings, all the rest of it. So you can add the banner, say looking for work, or people put out opportunities, or LinkedIn will send you those. So if you are looking for an opportunity, get more active about it as well, and you start putting yourself into the frame. I would say that will be a great thing to do. So, scholarships or the pursuit of education. So, if you think about it right now, if I was saying to you, which I am, is there an area of your life in which you could benefit from either learning something new, being educated from scratch, or enhancing what you already know and topping up your education, your skills, your knowledge? What area would that be? And just notice what comes to mind while I have a sip of water. And then, with regards to whatever it was that came to mind, what do you already have around you or at your fingertips or on your device that you could just tap into? And then get your calendar, your schedule, whatever it is, whether you're old school, you do it pen and paper, or whether you've got it on your tablet, your device, or you've got a wall planner, whatever it is, and actually schedule some time in to do it. And also, depending on the size of the topic, what it is, how long will it take? It could be that it's just a short course, 2, 3 days, a day, couple of hours. It could be that it's a bigger endeavor that could take several months or even a year. But just really be thinking to yourself, one of the things, there's always a theme that comes up when I do the Tarot Tuesday readings in the membership group. And one of the themes for this one was about, seeds coming to fruition and looking at what's already been achieved, but also thinking ahead to the future. So one of the things I've just said on the longer Facebook live reading is think about what you would love to have done, achieved by this time next year. And then you're kind of dialing it back from there. And so if you'd say, I would love to have done X, Y, or Z, or achieved this, or learned that, or be skilled in this, what is it going to take to get you there? What are the skills? What's the education? What's the knowledge? What's the next step? And this really is about taking the next step. You don't have to do the whole caboodle in one go, but actually scheduling that in to get the ball rolling. And then, as they say, the whole universe can rise up to meet you. So, Page of Ariel, about education. And we're coming back just very quickly about those characteristics: reliable, clever, educated, balanced. Tapping into your skill sets, bringing the right energy to the situation. And again, making a conscious decision to do that. So, one of the things I talked about in the Tarot Tuesday readings in the group was about the archetypal journey and starting with the call. One of the pivotal parts of the archetypal journey is hearing the call. You can hear the call, you don't have to answer, you can put down that metaphorical phone. if you do decide to hear the call and answer, you have to step over the threshold. That is that first step. And then as you go around the archetypal journey, there is a different energy that is required for each of those. There's one energy for the call, there's another for the threshold, there's another for the abyss, there's another for the transformation. Different energy is required at each time. So with regards to this, the invitation I would say is to look at the energy, the mindset required for what you're about to embark on, and activate that. Think of it like Avengers Assemble, where you bring in the skill set and the thing that you want to do. Hi, Mo. So Cal says, can I please have a reading? Okay, I'll pull a very quick card. I'll put this one back in the deck. Add it back into the mix. I'll do a quick shuffle. Da, da, da. Oh, hello, Mary from YouTube. Lovely to have you here. See, the link up is working. All right, so Cal, I'm going to go with that one there. What we got? 9 of Gabriel. Right, so let me just show you that one. I will read it because you might be on a tiny little device. So 9 of Gabriel, this one says, stay determined and move forward, exclamation mark. Be prepared for any possibility and environmental activism. So this one is terms of, let's say you've been going through something, it feels like it's been a long road. It could even feel like it's been a really hard slog. Let's just say somebody says, hey, should we go out for a bit of a walk? And then suddenly they take you up this great big steep hill, and maybe you don't have the right shoes, you're not wearing your walking boots, or you don't have the right clothing, so you're absolutely freezing or you're sweating or whatever it might be, and it's really hard. And then you're like a quarter of the way there, you get halfway, and now you're like, I can't even be doing with this, but you know that it's going to be as much effort to go back down as it is to get up to the top. So it could be that you feel like you've been in that sort of situation metaphorically in life, in some particular situation. And this one is saying, remain determined, keep moving, put one foot in front of the other. And also, if it has been like that, rather than looking at every single step, because that can be quite demoralizing and quite frankly quite depressing, is then focus on the prize. Where are you heading? What are you doing this for? What's the purpose behind this? Why did you embark on this journey in the first place? Because you may need to remind yourself of that as you're kind of going through. Now, where it says be prepared for any possibility, I think of the brownies. I was in the brownies when I was growing up, and it's, little motto was be prepared. And so we used to do all these little badges where you'd have the cooking badge, for example, and the nature badge and the sewing badge and all the rest of it. And then you would sew them down the side of your uniform. And I still, to this day, 50 odd years later, when people say, oh, that's handy. How did you, Lynn, thanks, I hadn't thought of that. Or you've got this, or how do you know that? Or, oh, wow. And I've just got access to something. I sometimes actually say out loud, I say, yeah, I was in the brownies, be prepared. So it's a little bit like that. So this one is kind of being open to possibilities. Part of it is going to be, how can I say that? Saying yes to things, and sometimes saying no. Because possibilities and opportunities can present themselves a bit like the archetypal journey. You can hear the call, you've got to actually answer it and take the step over the threshold. So when it's talking about being prepared for possible, if your knee-jerk reaction, particularly if you're feeling overwhelmed at the moment, or a bit anxious or a bit down or whatever is going on, you just got a lot on your plate, the natural knee-jerk reaction can be no. If an opportunity comes up, and this isn't about overloading yourself, but let's just say an opportunity comes up, you're halfway up this blasted mountain, and somebody says, hey, come over here for a detour, sit down and have an iced tea or whatever it is. You can just go, no, have you seen what I'm doing here? But you might just take a moment and breathe and go, okay, is this going to add to the feeling of overwhelm? Or will this give me a break and a bit of respite? And will it give me the opportunity to reset my mind, reset my brain, or rest physically? And if the answer is, yeah, actually, it would be a good reset, calibration, a rest point, a relaxation point, then say, actually, you know what? I'm going to go and sit over here. In my case, I'd have a cup of herbal tea or some water. and you take the little detour, but you got to say yes to it rather than the knee jerk reaction saying no. Now, if you ask yourself the question, you're like, oh, no, no, this is just too much. I haven't got the time. I haven't got the energy. I haven't got the mindset. I haven't got the inclination to go over there and sit and have a herbal tea. You say thank you, but no thank you. You continue on your journey. But this thing is here. Just take a moment to breathe, take a moment to assess the situations and ask yourself. I guess the simple way for me to summarize that is as opportunities and possibilities come up, you ask yourself honestly, is this a help or is this a hindrance? And then whatever the answer is to that, you take action accordingly. And environmental activism, it could, back in the day, it was about save the whale, and the whale still needs saving. We're all good. It doesn't actually. It could be about so many different aspects, but there could be a cause that is close to your heart. And increasingly, I've seen this actually happening a lot on social media recently. People who were silent over the last few years, particularly, suddenly now they're rising up because something has happened in the world that is a cause that is close to their heart, or there's been some sort of injustice. And rather than just sitting back and quietly watching everything, just like being a passive observer, people are actually now starting to sit up. They're starting to use their voices. They're starting to, share their views. They're starting to have conversations. They're starting to engage in dialogue. So where it says environmental activism, it could be due to something to do with the environment. However, wider than that, it could be a cause that is close to your heart. And increasingly, you find yourself being drawn to speak up on that more, to take more of an active role. So, for example, I've never been on a march, a protest in my life. And last summer, and then again, I went to the conference a few months ago. I actually went on a march through London, held me little placard. Actually, it's over there. I'll show. Actually, wait, I'll show you because I brought it home. I don't know if you, there we go. If I hold it back. So this was a together. I actually went on a march and I carried this through London. I'm in my late 50s. I've never done anything like that before. Now, as you know, if you follow me on Facebook, I'm very vocal, have been for the last 25 years, coming up to 26 years, about the things that I'm passionate about, the causes that I see, the injustices, etc. That's my thing now. Once I found my voice, I decided to use it because I was silent pretty much until the age of 32, terrified of public speaking, etc. Story for another day. But when I found my voice, I think I want to use it. And so I started speaking about, writing about, doing interviews about, magazines, newspapers, television, radio, about the things that I'm passionate about. And then I took it a stage further last year and actually thought, you know what? I'm going to take it a step further. This is something I'm going to get really active about. So went on the march, attended the Together conference in London. So that's the thing that I sort of mean when I'm talking about it here. Oh, Cal, for those of you who can't see the comments, actually, I'm going to do a little screenshot just so I can save it. But it says, this all makes so much sense. You are most welcome. So with regards to this one, I'm going to say very funny. Sorry, I say very funny because often if I don't say something, if I have a thought and I don't say it, then a song comes into my head. So I heard it, I ignored it, and then there's a song, We Are the Self-Preservation Society. It was from some sort of TV series from the 1970s, 80s. But one of the things that I'm going to say is going to be very, very key in however life is unfolding at the moment, is making sure that you preserve your health. That's physical, spiritual, mental, emotional. So if I was summarizing that into two words, it would be self care. So making sure you take the time for self care. That could be as simple as brushing your teeth. It could be as simple as brushing your hair, or if you don't have any hair, shining the bald, moisturizing the bald head. It could be as simple as having a shower. And I know if you're for people that are, well, that's very basic. Oh, no, and it's not. When you've got a lot going on. Now, I'm not talking about duvet days. Those are a whole different ballgame where there's a conscious decision. I'm staying in my PJs. I've even got house pajamas. So I have a shower. So I get out of I get up, I'm in my pajamas, then I have a shower, and then I get back into a different set of pajamas, like they're house pajamas. They're not sleeping pajamas. Again, that's a conversation another day. So I'm not talking about the conscious decision to have a cozy day. I'm talking about something entirely different. This might be the working day. This might be the day in the week. This might be where you're kind of like, oh, it's been 3 or 4 days. So self care, whatever it means. Now, it could be not as drastic as that. It could just be do something nice for yourself. Have that little sit down moment. Have that little the pause. Now, this is cold because I made it. This is one I made earlier, but I like herbal tea. And people give me the most wonderful mugs. So this one says the mug of positivity. It's a very clever play on words. And just to sit and have a nice bit. And this is I think Annika, this was you, I believe. Um, and this is a really generous size mug. It is brilliant. But just to sit and just savor the smell, because quite frankly herbal teas often smell better than they taste, and then just to take the time just to drink it in, that for me is an act of self-care. And when I make my herbal tea, unless I'm on a deadline and we're having a little bit of break when I have a webinar, and even then I make sure that when I'm running a 1 day webinar or even a half day, when I know it is, what I do is I have a couple of mugs on the side. I put the herbal tea bag into the mug, and then I put a little cover on it. The kettle is already full with the right amount of water. So that when we have a break, although it's a little bit of a rush, I don't have to rush it, because I treat making a cup of herbal tea, it's just a basic tea bag, I'm not even using loose leaf, but I count making a cup of herbal tea, it's a meditative act. Um, and so, oh, that's brilliant. Oh, hold on, let me see that one. So that was the first one saying this makes so much sense. And then that one's just popped up on my screen. Let me have a read of that. Wow, I have been on this journey for a while, but I stopped recently and I need to get back to it. Thank you for this. It means so much. Cal, you are more than welcome. I'm glad it makes sense to you. So I show you that card once again, just so you can take it. Because sometimes you look at the card and something will stand out to you. So that's the Nine of Gabriel. Well, thank you all for joining me for this little Tarot Tuesday taster. And as I said, if you'd like to book an online reading or even a written reading, I did those a couple of years ago. They worked very well, actually. The way it worked was people sent me an email, say, can you do me a reading? But I didn't actually meet up with them online or back in a day by phone, etc. What I did was I pulled a card for them, and I actually, when I said I was going to do a written reading, so I did the card and I actually then started typing, and I was like, for the love of God, just talk, Marion. So then what I ended up doing was just recording an audio of the reading that I sent to them, because it was actually quicker just to do the reading, because it's kind of like a stream of consciousness almost, than to actually type it all up. Now, for some people who did the 12-month, actually, I didn't offer that this year, but a couple of years ago, I did a 12-month tarot reading for people. So we did it in January/February, and I did 12 cards, one for each month. And a couple of years ago, what I did for that is I recorded it, and then with the power of technology, I actually did a written transcript of that, so people could just go back to the document and look at that particular month. And that was the one where I met people a year later, or they were part of a coaching group. There was a friend I went out with. We went to a thing in Watford, and she said, oh my God, I went back and I looked at my reading, and the thing you said that was going to happen in May is happened just like you said. So it can be really interesting. So we do the full 12 months up front, and then you see how it unfolds. With the written readings, I still say written readings, but what I tend to do with those, if it's not going to be on Zoom or telephone, I'll do the reading, I'll send you the link where you can listen to it, you can download the audio of it, and we can do it that way as well. But yeah, visit the website, it's going along the bottom on the ticker tape, transformationstm.com/tarot readings, and it's TRANCE as in hypnotic trance, because I'm a hypnotherapist as well. So transformationstm.com, TRANCE, F for Freddie, FORMATIONS, DM as in trademark, transformationstm.com/tarot readings if you would like an individual readings. And I tend to do those online via Zoom or via telephone, depending on where you are. Have also done a few on Facebook Messenger as well, using the audio because it works very well. Luke, I will leave it there. I'll go on the main reading. Thank you for this. Oh, you are most welcome. But yes, the main reading, very interesting as usual. And also, Annika, while you're here, because you have a new YouTube channel, is it Annika's Quest? remind me of what the name is, because if people are watching this and particularly for those of you who are watching on YouTube, check out Arnica's new channel. Very interesting conversations and discussions happening there. So if you've got the link, put it into the chat and then I can put that up on screen before we close and I can do that. And while because I think there's a little bit of a time delay sometimes if you're still here. And if you are, I'll have a drink of water. I'll put that up on screen. And if not, cycle back and put it into the comments so that people can follow the YouTube channel as well. Because the quality, here we go. Let me show you that. It's called, go search. So it's Arnica's Quest, ANNEKE, and it's the Quality of Life Quest. So go forth and look that up on YouTube or follow Arnica here on Facebook, and then you'll see those videos coming forth as she releases them. Wonderful. Oh, there we go. And there we go. That's one of the links. So that link is in the chat. So for those of you who are watching this on Facebook, I don't know if the this chat is, oh no. Oh, actually, I think are you watching this on, actually, Arnica, are you watching this on YouTube? Because I can see the little YouTube symbol next to your name. Cal was on Facebook, but it looks like you're actually on YouTube. So what you should be able to do underneath this video on YouTube is you can just click straight through to that link and it will take you to Arnica's channel. Fabuloso. Well, here is to a fabulous, fantabulous, fantastic, fun-filled, how many more can I think of, month of February and beyond. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Cal, for playing along. And Arnica says, yes, watching on YouTube. Cool. And I like this platform. You can multi-stream. For years, I only ever streamed to Facebook. And then it's like, let me just figure out how to actually set these other ones up. And then once you've done the authorization, the encryption key, etc., it works very well. Fabulous. Well, thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening. Marilyn Devonish, the neuro success coach, rapid transformation specialist, futurist, and of course tarot reader. Since the late 1990s, I started reading tarot. I started doing it just for myself, first of all. Didn't have the courage to do it for anyone else, but it's been a while. So thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening, and enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening. And I will catch you later. Bye. And remember, the individual readings are now up in the Facebook membership group.